All right, everybody. Those of you that have been paying attention to this battle over Obamacare, how many of y'all know which of these groups here that are listed are actively working to stop Obamacare? All of them are. Every one of these three. Freedom Works, Club for Growth, Heritage Action for America, they are not alone, but they're all working in that direction. Which of these elected officials are actively working to stop Obamacare? That's correct. Unfortunately, we have three people that are talking about Obamacare. We have one that's actually doing something. I want to talk a little bit about background, and I think a lot of you guys are familiar with Obamacare. So if I'm reviewing, I apologize, but I know that not everybody is, and I think it's important we all know this stuff. The question is Obamacare the end goal? Did they put Obamacare in place so that they could have Obamacare? No. That's correct. And in my opinion at least, is that Obamacare is not the end goal, and I'm going to show you why I believe that. Yeah. And some of y'all may also
Trojan horse for single payer.
That's, and we're going to get to that. So let's, you're skipping ahead. Some of y'all may be familiar with these guys. Paul Krugman, he is a very well-known writer and speaker on the left. He's what they call a thinker, or what passes for a thinker on the left. The guy at the bottom is our favorite Democrat, Barney Frank. And so let's just see what they had to say about healthcare policy in recent years. This is what Krugman says. Politically, single payer is hard to do in one step. You have to convince people to completely give up the insurance policy they have. Whereas something that lets people keep the insurance they have, does that sound familiar? But then offers the option of the public plan, it evolves into single payer, but you can do it politically. That's Paul Krugman in 2009, before the passage of Obamacare. Barney Frank, saying we will do nothing until we get single payer is a sure way never to get single payer. So what's he saying there is, the way to get single payer is to go for something else that will take you to single payer. And then this is Ezra Klein in July 2008. Again, this is before the election of Obama, but he was talking about how do you get to single payer health care. He says at some point you have to win. Not everything, but you have to put winning first. So what does putting winning first mean? Right? Does it mean putting it above honesty? Does it mean putting it above full disclosure? Maybe it does. Yes, I would like to sign the insurance companies out of existence with my pen. It would be sweet, but it has never happened in the history of this country that we've sent a multi-billion-dollar industry employing tens of thousands of people in every district in America out in one shot. I think I can lay this out for them in ways that they're not necessarily allowed to. He's talking about politicians and people in the nonprofit organizations. I think I can lay this out for them in ways they're not necessarily allowed to. That they have a sneaky strategy to the point of which is to put in place something that over time the natural incentives within its own market is to move to single payer.
You'll know what's in it when you vote for it.
Amen to that. So what do we have here? We have a number of voices from the left talking about a two-step program. That we get to single payer as a two-step process. Here's a guy that you might also be familiar with. What did Mr. Barack Obama, as a candidate, this is before he's president, he says, I don't think we're going to be able to eliminate employer coverage immediately. There's going to be potentially some transition process. Canada did not start off with a single payer system immediately. They had a similar transition step. And this was where he was advocating for a transition step to single payer. So these guys have told us what they were for. And they want to get to single payer. That's the ultimate goal. Obamacare is not the ultimate. And again, now in my opinion, I've given you the quotes. Based on these quotes, my opinion is single payer is the goal. Obamacare is the road that gets us to single payer if it's allowed to move forward. This is my point of view. And I think that those quotes at least back that up. I'm sure there are quotes if they would deny that because they don't want to admit. If you guys are not familiar, what single payer means is essentially the government becomes the only source of money for health care. It means that the single payer is not just some random single payer, it is the government. So
socialized medicine.
It is socialized medicine, it is a government monopoly on health care. So, and everything that brings along with it. In my opinion, the purpose of Obamacare is to clear the way for single payer by eliminating private health insurance. That is, and how do they do that? what I believe we're going to do, and they've only begun to do it now, but they're going to do it more and more, is they're going to drive up the requirements for what counts as a private health care program, and they're going to drive down the premiums that can be charged. They're going to squeeze the health insurance companies in such a situation where the minimum requirements for a health insurance policy are above what you can offer it at the premiums they're going to allow you to charge. Again, that's a projection. It's my opinion. We're going to have to see, but that's what I think is going to happen.
They're already doing it.
You're right. They are. We're already seeing that happen. So it's not purely prediction. So here's a question for you. Here's a quote, and this is what I call the "let it crash" strategy on Obamacare. Let it crash. Just let it go forward. It won't last. It's a Frankenstein monster of policy. It can't survive. Just let it go forward and end. It won't survive. The quote is this: "What we're trying to do is let Obama be a failure. Otherwise, it's Republicans stopped us from achieving what you want, and we do not want to stop Obamacare." And I think these governors, and he was referring to governors that had funded the Medicaid exchanges to support Obamacare, I think these governors are probably pretty smart. We won't lose if Obamacare gets passed, gets bad. We lose if it goes in limbo. Okay, now here's a quiz, and if you know the answer, don't pipe up. Who's a Republican? Who do y'all think said that? That was your congressman. That was your congressman that said that. What we're trying to do is let Obama be a failure. Otherwise, it's Republicans stopped us from achieving what you want. We do not want to stop it. Okay? So keep that in mind when you hear that there's going to be some effort in some time in the future to fight against Obamacare. This is the strategy. Okay, wait. I guess we're going forward with this, right? To the next section. Yeah, we are. Yeah. What's that? Yes, yes. So here's the question, and this is one of the arguments that's put up in opposition to the idea of it's kind of a fallback argument. The fallback argument on Obamacare is, well, we don't really want to stop it, but even if we did want to stop it, it would be devastating to our troops. We can't allow there to be a government shutdown. Now, first of all, there was a lot of deception in the use of the term government shutdown. A lot of people use that term, but the term government shutdown is deceptive because there's no way to shut down the federal government. In reality, you can't shut down the government the way that you shut down your car, turn it off, take your keys out, and go to the house. There's not any policies or procedures in place to do that. What there is the ability to temporarily suspend non-essential government services. That is a possibility. You can temporarily suspend the funding for non-essential government services. And when Obama talks about a government shutdown, or when the media talks about a government shutdown, what they're really referring to is a temporary suspension of non-essential government services. And I'd raised this with Wade, and Wade had generously agreed to kind of give us a summary of what a shutdown or what a temporary suspension means, what it doesn't mean, and whether or not it would affect the troops and our veterans and services. So, Wade, if you would, go ahead and give that presentation.